Alright guys, and welcome to another video. So Blizzard have announced that they are going to eventually announce the new World of Warcraft expansion. And that is going to be happening on April the 19th. And what is also very absent from this post is anything about Classic WoW. But that is honestly probably because if it said Classic WoW or TBC Classic expansion reveal, it would be pretty obvious already what it's going to be. The telling us that there's going to be a reveal would actually be a reveal. So who knows, when we get this expansion reveal for the new retail expansion, maybe we'll get the announcement for Classic Wrath at the same time. But obviously a lot of people are thinking about what could the new expansion be, and I'm going to share my research and my thoughts into this. Many people are in the same opinion that Blizzard kind of ran out of stuff to do when it comes to expansions. Shadowlands felt like that a little bit, it just felt like it was pulled out of the hat. But I don't think that's necessarily true. I think there's still a lot of potential with World of Warcraft. You know, there's a potential for them to make a totally clean slate. A lot of people are speculating that it could be something to do with the Dragon Isles, because of the release of a new Dragon Pack in the store, and there have been some expansion leaks called the Ashes of Galacross. Now, leaks this early in the game have to be taken with a pinch of salt. Normally, leaks that happen the same week or a day before the actual expansion reveal are fairly accurate. But to be honest, the Dragon Isles concept isn't too far of a stretch. It isn't just a glitchy area that you could get into in vanilla WoW. It would make sense for Blizzard to just have an expansion where they tone down the sci-fi, the planets, of the dimensions, of the worlds, big siege machines and everything like that, and just kind of go back to their roots and have a more medieval high fantasy styled expansion that feels more like classic World of Warcraft. There was a canon mention of the Dragon Isles in Battle for Azeroth actually. It's supposed to be an old god temple where the dragonflights roam, and it's where they've been chilling and living for thousands of years. And the interesting thing about the dragonflights is how there isn't actually a lot of information about about their origins. We don't really know how the dragonflights were created, whether the Titans created them, whether they came from a different planet, or they just naturally evolved on Azeroth. We could have an expansion focusing on discovering the true origins of the dragonflights. You never know, it could be like a Viking dragon slaying themed expansion, a lot like Skyrim. And I think there's a lot of potential there, because, you know, that old school dragon slaying RPG styled expansion, I definitely think it would be appealing. The thing is though, the dragon aspects, who were essentially gods of each dragonflight, well, they've kind of lost their powers and they're kind of irrelevant in the lore now, if you really think about it, because their service and their duty to Azeroth was fulfilled. But I don't really fully agree with that. Yeah, the leaders lost their powers, but you know, there's still dragons knocking about. They could do something totally new with the lore. They're definitely not afraid to really come out with out-of-the-box ideas, because, I mean, look at Mr. Pandaria. They made an expansion about pandas and Pokemon and things like that, just out of nowhere, out of a little small concept from Warcraft 3, turned into something huge. Also, since they kind of have possibly ran out of ideas, they could do cross-universe stuff. We know that World of Warcraft is set within a universe with many different planets, so the idea that the world of Diablo is on one of these planets, or the stories and characters of something like Overwatch are in a different galaxy, it is a fairly plausible idea. If, you know, that happened tomorrow, it wouldn't be implausible. However, if WoW suddenly became an ultra sci-fi MMO with laser guns and cybernetics, probably just wouldn't feel right, and I think it would put most people off playing World of Warcraft. Although WoW does have a sci-fi feel to it now, it's much more tame, high fantasy kind of sci-fi style. It's very different and unique, to be honest. What I'm trying to say there is it's definitely no Cyberpunk or Star Wars, it's definitely its own thing. However, Diablo could be a good candidate for them to introduce some cross-universe stuff. I know they're very different games, but they do fit nicely in the same basket. Diablo really is just a high fantasy game like WoW with a much darker tone. And let's be honest, when a franchise runs out of ideas, they do start to introduce time travel and multi-universes. So maybe the universe of Diablo could merge into World of Warcraft. The only thing that kind of makes me think that probably will never happen is because, you know, we've had demons in TBC, in Legion, and, you know, who wants another expansion about demons again, even if they are different demons? You know, Blizzard may be more motivated to do something more original. And like I said, they definitely aren't afraid of time travel. There's a number of things that they could actually do with that. They could totally rewrite the timelines of WoW, jumble everything up and start from fresh. I'm not the expert on Shadowlands lore because I didn't really play it, well, I didn't play it at all. But maybe something about the Shadowlands could affect the old Azeroth. Maybe time stretches differently when mortals are in the Shadowlands, and when we return, everything has changed. This could give Blizz the chance to totally start afresh. Put the old Azeroth in its own dimension in the Caverns of Time so that we can revisit when we want to do transmog runs and things like that. But the new Azeroth that we return to could be a totally different place that's actually been reshaped by the moving of tectonic plates, and maybe the dragons have become the dominant intelligent race as they once were without the heroes of Azeroth to protect the Alliance and the Horde. Maybe the factions will be totally shattered when we go back and they won't even exist anymore, even on the character selection screen. I mean, that would fit with the fact that they've implemented cross-faction support for instant content and guilds and everything. I mean, just looking at that individually, the whole cross-faction concept could be a hint of something crazy coming in the future in the next expansion. And when we return to Azeroth, we have to help the remnants of whatever is left of the Horde and the Alliance and the other three races in a fight against the new dominant Dragonflight. You know, Onyxia, Nefarian, Deathwing could all get resurrected or perhaps even get mutated together into one raid boss. And this could introduce the concept of a totally new faction that is a singular faction, or the game just becomes factionless. I think Blizzard definitely do need to do something out of the box to gain interest in World of Warcraft again. We're also due a new class, so maybe there could be a dragon-themed class with this expansion. A class similar to the Demon Hunter uses the power of his enemies against his enemies. Could be a tank spec with some cool dragon form or something like that. Personally, I think it's about time we got a totally clean slate. Many people talk about how we need a World of Warcraft 2, but the problem is with that is it's never going to happen while current World of Warcraft is making bank. Why spend money on a game that might flop, that has a lot of risk involved, when you can just continue milking the cash cow? So maybe World of Warcraft 2 will be reimagined as a new expansion instead of them just totally remaking the game from the ground up. Again, like putting the old world in the Caverns of Time, and then when you go into the world it is totally different. It almost feels like you are playing a World of Warcraft 2. They could definitely do something like that, and it is definitely a good idea. It also wouldn't surprise me if they did a totally new graphical revamp. Maybe even on a new engine or something. The styles probably wouldn't be revamped, but the quality and the resolution could definitely be improved, because the last time they really got updated was, like, I'd say Legion. So that's quite a few years ago now. But who knows, guys? Only time will tell. Those are just my feelings and thoughts about the topic. My name is MetaGoblin. To the next video. Ciao.